Are you wanting to give more value, or you feel like, how is it I become a person of value or a man of more value? Well, today I wanted to share my perspectives on this from what I've learned over the years from working hard to really being able to offer value and in turn see myself as more valuable. And if you stay until the end, I have a final point for you then that you want to stick around from. As always, if you want to reach out to me on social media, you can do so using the links in the show notes below. Now, I've had stories where, well, times, stories as well, I guess, when I've really wanted to people please people. And I don't think, just in my honest view, I don't think anyone's like an exception to people pleasing at some level. You know, we have to follow the laws and all these kind of things, like, you know, maybe socio and psychopaths aside, but like generally most human beings, or maybe there's a psychological condition, but most human beings need some kind of validation. Now, I do appreciate there's some people who are like very little like awareness, and just like can do it in a way where they just don't care and they're just like very inconsiderate of people. But then there's also I'm considerate of people, but like I'm not going to let someone's opinion shape my life and how I feel about me, which is a very healthy approach, right? And then there's the side where it's like, oh, right, I need to please everyone. If I do something wrong, it's really dangerous, right? And that's part of like a nervous system response I've learned personally from me and all my studies on things like breath work and nervous system and psychology, is that we have to have these childhood like wounds and like need for approval from others. When we've had like experiences early on where that's come about, right? So it can definitely go down that. And I've learned over time to really value myself and not be so attached to other people's opinion. Again, I'm not like exempt. I would consider myself this, like, again, I'm always, and the fact I'm saying this, I'd be very open to hearing other people's point of views. I wouldn't necessarily agree, or I might agree, but like this would be my view. My view would be that I'm like, funny, I was about to speak then and I started coughing. Anyway, so that doesn't impact what I was going to say. So that's a good example. So, and a lot of people would have edited that out. So like for me, I would consider that I'm quite a driven guy who's kind-hearted. Now and then, maybe I've said something a little bit abrupt, or like I got upset and maybe I said something I would have taken back. Generally, I can't think of too many examples where I said something like completely out of order or anything like that. You know, we all have our like moments, right? But yeah, generally, I'm considerate of other people. Now, at the same time, if I feel like someone's disrespected me or upset me, I am going to speak up. And I'm also going to do things like make videos, make podcasts, because I believe in my truth. I believe in helping men with their mental health because it's a big challenge and I'm not going to hide that. There's some things I agree with in the mental health space and other things I don't. We're all entitled to our views and sharing. I'd never come into this at the point saying I'm a mental health professional. I'm just a guy who's sharing his own personal experiences from his mental health and growth journey and working through things. And I've learned to kind of like value who I am and share that with other people. And one of the questions I've learned to kind of get myself thinking just about me and worried about others is like, how can I add more value and be of service to others? And that involves looking after myself first of all. So I really wanted to share some points for you today on, first of all, how you value yourself and then how you start giving that value out to other people in the world and really feel great about who you are. More and more through your life, because maybe you're stuck there and you're like, I don't value myself, people don't value me, all these kind of things, all this kind of narratives, right? And I've totally been there, totally get it, and it can be really tough. So here's my points I wanted to share with you. The first one, get very clear on what you want. I go back to this point so many times because so many people are just like, I don't want this, I don't want that. That's not what you want, that's what you don't want. And the more you focus on something, even if you're speaking about it, the more it's going to come into your life. So be clear on what you actually do want. And right, and then ask yourself, right, what is it you want to do? And then ask also, what is it that the world or people are needing more of? Because that can really add value to the world, right? That's what I've learned. I've learned there's, a men's mental health crisis over the years. There's a mental health crisis in general from the way we're trained, I believe. So like for me to speak here, it's like adding value in that area. I've like sold for a company before where we were already helping people become coaches and speakers. I don't do that anymore because it's not my path anymore. But like at the time, I knew what people needed as a handhold, and the company needed me to help them get more business in. And that's what I gave value. And it was what I wanted, making an impact on people's lives whilst admittedly making commission and all these kind of things, right? So it was like lining up. So yeah, asking yourself what the world wants is a really powerful one for how you can add value as well. What I used to do when I was younger was spend hours and hours at work, and I was not adding value. I was like doing all this photocopying, all this like smart tidying up of papers, and it wasn't really needed. It wasn't like valuable. There's a difference between working hard and being valuable. So yeah, the first question is asking yourself what you want. And then the second one, as I was saying, is what does the world want? Like, what does the world need? And how does what you want like link into that, find a link? And then the third thing, very simple, schedule that in. How can you add that value in very regularly? Put it in your calendar so that it's something you can get into practice on a regular basis. Okay, now I've got a final point that I think is really important for you to hear. Just before I say that though, if you wanting to reach out to me, connect with me, learn things about like breath work, already connect with me on your story on men's mental health, then you can connect with me on social media. Links are in the show notes below. The final one is believing and really feeling your value. There's times in your life where you've been valuable and you've got to believe it. If you don't believe you're valuable, you've been training yourself unconsciously to think you're not valuable. The good news is you've got that power to believe you are valuable. And that's what I train myself to do every single day. Every single day, I will write down what I love about myself, what I'm grateful for, like twice a day. And I'm writing down those things and my brain's going, I did this, this, and this. Oh, that was valuable. So just even writing down 3 things that you've achieved in the last day or last week or over your life, if you want, can really get your brain thinking in that way. Because the more you list evidence about how valuable you are, the better you are going to feel about you and how valuable. And when you see the value you're giving, you want to give more because you feel good about what you've done already. And then you want to give more. You're like, how can I add more value to people? And what I found is also opportunities come up the more value I add. So regularly training yourself to look at the value you're already giving. And it's not about, again, it's not coming back to other people and like getting, if you do get praise from other people, write that down as well. But it's not about being dependent on that. It's about realizing that you've got value and dishing that out from your brain already. So I appreciate you for being here. And remember to lead with your heart and not with fear.